This video is brought to you by Squarespace. The Grinch has surprisingly appeared as a costume character way more than you'd ever imagine. Sure, you've all got that live-action Jim Carrey Grinch floating around in your mind, because he's everywhere, like literally everywhere. I think the Grinch has a TikTok now. I can't even believe it. But the Grinch has a wild history of popping up in all sorts of musicals, TV specials, theme park events, even chocolate shops. Each a unique experience or costume look you've probably never seen before. So get comfy, grab your toe socks, cuddle up, drink a hot chocolate you just made from dust in a bag. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. What does that even mean? What does it mean to be a heel? Is that you're a piece of a shoe? Kenny told me after I wrote this excellent script, he took all the fun out of it. He's like, it's just a wrestling bad guy, man. That's what a heel is. He's like, everyone knows that, just like Darth Vader is German for dark dad, The Children's Theater of Minneapolis, Indiana first commissioned a Grinch musical for their 1995 season. This musical was the first official piece of live-action Grinch material made after decades of various animated specials and shorts. You're all familiar with the iconic movie, but he's appeared in all kinds of Dr. Seuss cartoons. He's a very popular character. Here in this production, the Grinch costume that they put on was rather muted. It's got this giant bulbous belly and fuzzy arms and legs made out of like a dark natural fur. And they have this really fun prosthetic for his face. He's got these high cheekbones and weird green face paint. They did this production of The Grinch for many years. Most recently in 2023 was the last time they did it. And the Grinch costume there has evolved throughout the years, but this is the first instance of a live action Grinch that we ever saw. It's great, I love it. He's like a mean teddy bear. It looks like an angry, fat green Elvis. Eventually, this Grinch musical, script, book, lyrics, and all, was scooped up by a new director and relocated to San Diego in 1998 for some big things. This seemingly small staging of this Grinch musical kickstarted a huge amount of Broadway Seuss magic that would trickle down for decades. Now, how can I talk about the live action representations of the Grinch without, of course, taking a quick detour into the wubulous world of Dr. Seuss, where many of you got your first live action Grinch exposure here in this Grinch Mupp Grinch? It reminds me of Fozzie Bear in that one Christmas special where he looked like the Grinch. I love this puppet, man. The expressive eyebrows, he's got a big feathery collar, the plumage on his head. He's so miserly and grumpy. He's like Sesame Street's Oscar the Grouch had a baby with Bert, and like both of their misery combined into a new type of Christmas-hating misery. Defunctland has a great history on the wubulous world of Dr. Seuss, so if you want to know more about all the puppets you just saw, watch that. But don't stop watching this video to watch that video. Kevin can wait. Isn't it so great seeing puppets wiggling around? Man, I love puppets here. What's the next Muppet we should do an evolution of on the channel? Let me know in the comments. Hashtag, this is the Muppet we choose. So when does the live action Grinch start to get some serious legs? I mean, the Grinch has legs, but that's like a phrase they use to be like when it started to move. Well, that Muppet Grinch didn't have legs. Well, it took legendary Broadway director Jack O'Brien, who is the mastermind behind such amazing productions like Hairspray, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and most recently the musical about corn, Shucked, to make this into something iconic. His career started off in 1981 as the artistic director of a theater in San Diego called the Old Globe. While there, in 1998, he wrangled the production rights to the first Grinch musical and set out to turning it up to 11. Now, what made this production so special is O'Brien's addition of the songs from the original cartoon televised special, specifically the song, "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," that we're not gonna play because no copyright strikes for us, baby, which, believe it or not, was not in the original staging of the musical in the first place, which is wild. But the musical was written by a guy who exclusively wrote novels, so I guess that'll happen. His team crafted unique sets that look like they were hand-drawn by Seuss himself and ripped right out of the pages. It's gorgeous. And the entire production, costumes included, were heightened in this ultra-bright and vibrant look. And while the Grinch look took maybe a year or two to refine, it ultimately landed as this extra furry, layered suit that almost looks like living paint. My gosh, look at this costume. I love, love, love the red jacket and hat and the green fur and layering. It's so great. Fun fact, the original Cindy Lou in this 1998 production in San Diego was none other than Vanessa Hudgens in her first acting gig. So both of these original Grinch musicals are still running in their original formats in completely different locations. And each iteration of the Minneapolis one changes a little bit, but the San Diego one stays pretty consistent. Once they locked it in after a few years, this is the musical that stuck around for a long time and traveled a long way, but more on that in a minute. Finally, my home theme park history. In 1999, a brand new theme park expansion opened at Universal Studios Orlando Resort called Islands of Adventure, bringing with it a whole land dedicated to Dr. Seuss. And let's be honest, it's one of the coolest family theme park areas in the Orlando area. I love Seuss Landing. It's so cute. They have Sneaks and, Who's-its and What's-its. Now, a lot of people falsely remembering this theme park opening up in tandem with the Universal Pictures live-action Grinch movie, but that's not the case. It was open a year before, and so there was no Jim Carrey Grinch the first year the park was open. Instead, we had a fursuit Grinch, a mascot Grinch character that would roam the land with, Green Eggs and Ham Guy and the Cat in the Hat. And this Grinch consistently appears in the parks whenever Grinchmas is not happening at the Christmas time season. So if you're heading, Christmas in July at Islands of Adventure, you're gonna run into this fursuit mascot Grinch, and he's super cute. I love it. He's got that mischievous grin that doubles as the vision mesh for the performer inside, which is cute. I love that little integration. And I like the Kermit the Frog-esque collar of pointy fur. That's cute. The giant yellow eyes have these cool dark red pupils, and it's all topped off with the floppiest darn thing that you ever did see. I love it. Every different picture I see of this guy, it's dangling a different way. They're still using this Grinch, so let's just, 1, 2. So now we have 3 concurrent Grinches appearing yearly in the world. But this costume was only seen at Christmas time in the parks in 1999. Because, of course, in the year 2000, we had possibly one of the greatest Christmas movies ever. The 2000 live-action Jim Carrey, Ron Howard, smash hit. It's just, chef's kiss. I love this movie. My kids and I, we watch it like we have some, like we're crazy people. It's just on all the time at Christmas time. This costume is made up of crazy yak hair, and the makeup took Jim Carrey close to 8 hours to apply every day, which at one point the production had to bring in CIA trainers to teach Jim Carrey anti-torture techniques so he could withstand the mental strain of having makeup put on his face for 8 hours, or at least that is one of the favorite trivia factoids that every single article about the Grinch costume character says. The makeup succeeds in heightening the costume in all sorts of cinematic ways. It's amazing. Where the Grinch musical could only walk, this big budget Grinch stretched his legs and ran. Every bit of this costume with the special effects, prosthetic makeup is just awesome. And that iconic Jim Carrey, twisty smile, perfect Grinch. This iconic Grinch costume laid the groundwork for so many iterations of this costume to come. Of course, Dr. Seuss was a huge vertical integration investment for Universal, and they knew they would have big money success on their hands, so in 2000, there was an absolute blitzkrieg, along with the movie, of the Grinch content in Universal theme parks in America. The Grinch and all of his Jim Carrey mania became a staple of Universal Parks, which is most impressive to me, the commitment to Jim Carrey Grinch special effects makeup. Like, they really go hard on this thing. It's beautiful. The contact lenses, the teeth, the huge nose, he's painted green in that thick furry suit. It just works so well. And what's so incredible, even on top of the costume itself, is the amazing actors who portray the Grinch for these Universal Parks. They're hilarious. They're incredible. They have this Grinch doing all sorts of wild stuff, man. He's like taking over the marketing department. He's taking over the tram at Universal Studios. This guy's a menace. Yeah, those big hands, those big furry Muppety hands, they're just great, you know? And the special effects makeup on the Grinch didn't just stop there. It's also extended to all the cast members in the park that are also costume character Who's, with all of these specialty noses that are perfectly applied. Like, let's give it up for the costume special effects makeup artist at Universal Parks. They do banger work. I also just want to mark that at Christmas time, that is the 4th iteration of the Grinch that perpetually stays out every year. This is wild. He's like Santa Claus. He's everywhere at once. Perhaps overshadowed by the wildly popular Grinch movie, another giant Seuss production debuted in 2000, the giant musical Seussical. I love this thing. Hey, if you're a producer out there and you want to cast me as Horton, Cat in the Hat, you know, whatever, I'll take it. I'll do whatever, man. I would love to do this show so bad. I love Seussical. Now, if you know the show, you know that there's an iconic cameo of the Grinch in this musical in the Who song. There's only like 2 grainy clips I could find, but what you could gather is he's like spinster Grinch. He's like wearing a he's like wearing a furry cardigan, and he's got like green slacks. You know, he's got like a green hairdo wig. He's like mid-century spinster. Essentially what I'm gonna turn into, guys. I'm being honest. I'm gonna look like a lunatic when I'm 70, and I'm gonna hate Christmas. Get off my mountain! I'm gonna own a mountain in my 70s too. I don't know if that's also, if you're aware of that part of being the story. So Jack O'Brien from the San Diego Old Globe Theater, using his success of Hairspray or the Full Monty, took that momentum of his directorness and scooped up his production from San Diego and tossed it over onto Broadway. So it's effectively the same show, the same costuming, the same sets, because they were iconic and beautiful and gorgeous. I mean, look at this thing. I can't stop fawning over how beautiful the sets are. But again, that's why I love Seuss Landing at Universal Studios. It's really fun to see Seuss drawings brought to life. This show ran for a truly unique 12 performances a week on Broadway, which is unheard of. This was and still unheard of. But this is one of those holiday shows that had a condensed offering, a condensed schedule, and so they crammed in a ton of performances, and it was a hit. Now, the final version of this Grinch musical on Broadway was unfortunately the basis of one of the most upsetting and weird live musical experiences America has ever been plagued with. The 2020 televised live musical starring Glee's Matthew Morrison, painted green with an odd little dimple nose and all the fur of the CGI'd cats in Cats. This guy is incredibly upsetting to look at. How did we manage to take everything good about God and make it awful? Yeah, this has a tagline of Shake Your Grump, which is, of course, a play on Shake Your Rump, which is something people do in musicals. And you can also do at home, because this is a live musical for you. Well, I honestly hate this so much. I'm sorry, I hate it so much. I don't know what it is. Matthew Morrison is just too handsome. He's too charismatic to play such a miserable Grinch. It just didn't work for me. I don't know, did you guys like it? I just realized how Grinchy I became about this version of the Grinch.
Meta.
All right, let's get off Broadway and go back to theme parks. Wow! If you recall, back in 2018, there was a CGI animated Illuminations Grinch starring Benedict Cumberbatch. using his sultry tones to voice a new animated version of the Grinch, which the Universal Studios Japan just so happened to lovingly celebrate with a new furry Grinch mascot. Look at this guy. He is so cute. He looks like what I would have assumed in an alternate reality the Kiss mascot would look like at Hershey Park. But you know what? He's just so stinking cute. I want to squish him, you know? And if we weren't so worried about suffocating the cast members inside, the mascot heads would all be squishimals, you know? They would all be stuffed animals you could squish. The only clip I could find is of Chris from Tokyo Disney Explorer out there roaming. So, look at Chris. Look at him, hug him. This is great. I'm watching this with you guys. Now look, outside of Universal Parks and the Illumination movies, the Grinch and Dr. Seuss as a whole still exists as their own unique brand, and as such, are licensed by certain properties to use. And that's how we got, you know, like Hershey Kiss Grinch things, or that's how you go to CVS and you see Grinch lip smackers or Cat in the Hat pencils. You know, Dr. Seuss is a brand that licenses things. So fans of the channel know I went to investigate the Grinch kisses and met the Grinch. And this is the official licensed Grinch character. So if any business wants to have the Grinch appear, this is the look that will show up. Most notably, you can see this Grinch consistently every year at Christmas up at Springfield, Massachusetts at the Springfield Museum, which is home to Dr. Seuss, of course. And they have a whole wing dedicated to Dr. Seuss. It's really cool. And there's the Grinch Grotto every year there, so that's cute. The costume is simple but effective. It just personifies the cartoon perfectly and keeps him friendly and welcoming while at the same time acknowledging that he's an extremely green, stinky, hairy thing. We actually met the company that's responsible for designing and producing this Grinch costume over at IAPA. You have to check out our costume character vlog. We spent a whole day chatting with people. It's a pretty awesome chunk of one of our IAPA vlogs. So please stop vlogging, check it out. Kenny, link the vlogs in the description. Are they down there? Are they? Yeah, why aren't you clicking them? If this video gets 100,000 views before the end of the month, I will record a special bootleg Grinch mascot costume, because I know you all see the Grinch out and about in a lot of places, and there are some real weird Grinches out there. So send me your Grinch photos on all the holy social medias, and if you guys, you know, get 10,000, YouTubers say this to people, right? They're like, get 10,000 likes. Comment with a pickle emoji. Do the, you know, like whatever they say to do. Just do those things, guys. I'll see that you're interested. Call me, you know, send me a letter and we'll get on it. So we're in the present now. We're in late stage capitalism and the worst has happened. The Grinch is on TikTok now.
I love you, Mr. Grinch.
Yeah. I hate myself, but
That's okay. I'll love you for you.
Great.
The sad man, who looks like Kelsey's Grammer's The Beast but dyed green, is just miserably looming around his lair with his dog on TikTok. This thing is full on promoting every one of the Seuss brands out there. You know, foot scrubs, they're all gonna be promoted by this guy. It's wild. Click the link in his bio, you'll see. It's this bananas link tree of Dr. Seuss. I could do it. You guys, like someone out there, companies, Yellow Shoes called me. I will just dress up like that chubby man who owns a sauna in Frozen, and I will just make content full time as that guy. Let's just bring Dreamfinder back on TikTok. Let's just do it. What are we waiting for? I might just do it. Should I do it? Should I bring Dreamfinder back? Nothing's stopping me. We should see if the copyright's expired. Maybe we could just buy it up. You know how like people do that sometimes? Now this is very clearly inspired by the Jim Carrey look, but it is not the Jim Carrey look because that's a specific licensed Grinch that appears at Universal Studios. He's actually got his own TikTok that like the marketing team there runs to promote, but this is very much inspired by it. It's like kind of like a weird amalgamation of like fursuit Grinch, Broadway Grinch, and Universal Studios Grinch. It's inspired by a lot of different things, but this one is a much more simplified makeup. That Jim Carrey makeup took like 8 hours to put on. I don't know how long it takes to put on at Universal Parks, but I'm willing to bet at least an hour. And so that's what this makeup job looks like. It's like, a 90-minute job, and they do pretty great. There's some fun prosthetics, and they clearly sit this guy in a room, and 30 writers are there, and they're just like, all right, now do this. All right, now do this. And that's how he spends 7 days a week, That's how that guy makes a living. Wearing a weird outfit, sitting in a boxed room, talking like a lunatic. But it's weird. He's chill. I love it. He's got great vibes. I love watching them. So in case you're keeping score, add one more Grinch to the tally of concurrent appearing Grinches roaming America. It's too many Grinches, guys. Pick a Grinch. You know what would make a great Christmas gift? Buying one of the silly shirts from my website, chucklekingdom.com, that I built with the powerful tools from squarespace.com. Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform from which to create your website. Connect your audience and generate revenue through gated members-only content, manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights all in one easy-to-use platform. Create a community on your Squarespace website with fully integrated commenting systems that support threaded comments, replies, and likes. Use their powerful blogging tools to categorize, share, and schedule your posts too. Automatically push website content to your favorite social media channels so your followers can share it too. And don't forget to check out Squarespace's Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system from Squarespace. It's never been easier to unlock your unbreakable creativity. Extend Squarespace's already powerful e-commerce capabilities with Squarespace extensions. These new third-party tools can help you manage your inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales tax, and ship items across the globe. And the website came together so easily, his tiny emoji heart grew 3 sizes that day. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/DisneyDan to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All right, Grinch fans, thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. I hope you all have a great time, putting things on your trees, lighting your festive things. I hope everyone has great holiday joys. I had a great time. Find me on all the holy social medias and share with me your stories of your Grinch interactions. I would love to hear about them. And of course, our vlog, please stop vlogging. Thanks for watching, guys. Ho, ho, ho. You rock. This is all you're getting. All 3 of us talking at the same time. Jack Skellington and the Grinch are not the same thing. The Grinch steals a Christmas brat. Jack Skellington steals the Santa that brings the Christmas. Completely different. Completely different guys. What's this? They do like Santa. They don't like the societal constructs that Christmas carries.